Welcome back to the garden. It's been a year since the last update, and we are now at 3 years of this project, and we're pretty much done. It's pretty much little to no room left to put anything else in the garden here. So this update is kind of a celebration of 3 years of work and really finishing the project. And I'm going to just do a little panoramic view of the garden as it looks today. And I'm going to move here a little bit, try to get out of this direct sunlight coming through early in the morning here, May 1st, 2023. And so before I go out into the garden and show everything we've got and what we've done, what's new, I've decided that to try to keep this video from becoming, hours long. I'm not going to go through all the new varieties. I just can't. It's just so much has been added, especially in terms of grafts. So I'm just going to quickly go through what we have. 103 fruit trees, 3 grapevines, added 50 new varieties of figs this spring with grafts. Had 40 to begin with. I've got over 90 varieties of figs now, and that's on 29 trees. Citrus, one apple tree. Citrus is 17 citrus trees, 34 total varieties of citrus, 1 apple tree, added 6 new varieties of apple to the one in my Anna apple tree. Stone fruit, 39 trees, just two varieties. I've only did my first stone fruit grafts this spring. They all took. So added just 2 varieties, the cherry plum hybrid, Sprite and Delight. So that's 39 total varieties of stone fruit. That's peaches, plums, apricots, nectarines, and all the hybrids, the mini hybrids, the pluots, the plum cuts, the apricots, cherry plum, plum cherry, nectar plum, picatum, peach apricot plum. I'll show you that I've gotten one of those. And I added just 1 new variety of mulberry this year, world's best mulberry. I have 10 varieties of mulberry now on 7 total trees. So I'm just going to drop my cheat sheet there, and we're going to go out into the garden. Try to keep this from being more than maybe 35 to 40 minutes. A lot of new stone fruit trees from RSI this year. Replaced, and sometimes, some cases even replacing Dave Wilson trees. They are clearly performing at a much better rate than my Dave Wilson stone fruit trees. It's just the difference is just stunning. And they're fruiting too. They're fruiting. Something like this is right here is an early grande peach, and I think I have 16 or 17 total trees from RSI now, and at least half of them that just went in the ground in the last few months are already fruiting. I've just never had a Dave Wilson stone fruit tree put on fruit the way these RSI trees are, just in the ground. Man, they're doing well. This is a Washington navel. I have 4 Washington navels now. I don't need 4 Washington navels, but that's my choice for grafting. So that's the only thing I have in terms of a duplicate citrus tree. And I'll keep 1 more or less for, the Washington navels are so wonderful, but the other 3 will be just heavily grafted too. And it's another new RSI tree. It's an early amber peach. This is a daisy mandarin. This is a Socorro black fig. I propagated this from Figaholics cutting. It's kind of a nice feeling. I got this nice, really nice. It's in its second year, and it's just a wonderful fruit on this Socorro Black. It's definitely in my top 10, maybe my top 5. But it's kind of fun that I propagated this tree myself from a cutting. It's a good feeling. LSU Tiger Fig, Pixie Mandarin. And again, I'm not going to go through the varieties, but that has a Fairchild and a Dancy graft on it. And another one, see, I'm not even going to remember them all. There's so many. This is a Fremont Mandarin. It has an 88-2 graft on it. That's successful. And just more new, brand new, it has, and I promise I'm not going to get caught up in this, but that's a Murcott and not a W Murcott. It's a Murcott. 2 different varieties, Murcott and W Murcott. And this has a Kishu graft on it. Tango Mandarin. Behind it, W Murcott. There's the W, not the Murcott, but the W Murcott. And behind that, Marseille Black MBVS fig with lots and lots of grafts on it. You can see grafts, graft. Some of my fig trees, this one right here in particular, this is an Olympian, and it has 14 grafts on it. It had two from last year, so that makes 16. It's a 17-1, assuming all the grafts taken. So far, there are, I believe, all except maybe one. It looks like it's going to be successful. Peachy Keen Peach. Pretty heavily loaded this year. It's only put on about 6 or 7 pieces last year. Now it's come into its own. This is its time to shine. This again is one of these peaches trees I've had to thin out. So I've had to come back 2-3 seals. Even that's too many. I've had to come back 2-3 times and thin more and more and more and more. It's just crazy, but you have a choice between lots and lots of small peaches or fewer but nice sized peaches. Satsuma, Owazi Satsuma. It's been in the ground for 2.5 years now. At least two to 2.5, and it's just barely grown. I'm not going to rip it out yet. I don't even consider it on the bubble. I'm tolerant of the citrus trees. They can be slow growing. If it's healthy, I think it'll do fine, but man, it's frustrating when you go year after year and there's just little to no growth. But chances are this one will take off here. Okay, Galaxy White Fleshed Donut Shaped Peach. Let's see the donut shape. And this guy just had about 6 or 8 pieces last year, and now it's pretty heavily. I even had to prune this one a bit. It was so heavily set with fruit. That's nice. Here's my original Washington Navel. This was my best citrus tree from the beginning, but now it's been overtaken by another one. It's right behind it. That guy right there, the Kino, is just exploded. This guy has a few grafts on it. Honey Mandarin produced really nice mandarins last year. This is going to be a favorite, I think. It's also known as the California Honey. Gold Nugget, same thing, it's only produced about 3-4 pieces last year. It looks like it's put on a pretty heavy fruit set. This one's got a Okitsuwazi Satsuma graft on it. Hasn't budded out yet, but it's still green, so I know it's good. That one's gonna take. And again, this guy should have a pretty heavy fruit set for this year. We'll see. They can prune themselves down. That's the thing about citrus. Citrus will self-prune, and you can't tell how many you're going to really have until a good few months even after all of the fruit sets. So there's my third Washington navel, and right here is my fourth Washington navel. And this is a Taroko blood orange. That was from our side as well. This guy's been pretty slow growing, but it's starting to take off now. Florida Prince. It's the second Florida Prince that's been in this spot. The first one died. So that's another Dave Wilson. Wish I'd have known about the RSI trees. I'd have put an RSI in there. This is the Kino. It's from Greenfield Citrus Nursery. Just been in the ground 2.5 years. And yeah, this guy's just exploding. And next to it there is the Mineola Tangelo. Wonderful fruit. I got wonderful fruit off this Mineola this year. And the Kino as well. I got about 60, 70 pieces off of this one. And this one's going to alternate bear though. It has not put on, it didn't even flower. And it's known, Kino's known for alternate bearing. So it fruited this last year. This next year I won't get any fruit at all off it. It did not flower, did not fruit. So this is one of those every other year type of citrus. And this is an Algerian, small, but it's producing nice fruit, so Algerian Clementine. And this, amazingly, this is a page graft, just done this spring, and it's already flowering. I'm sure if it sets fruit, it'll drop. It won't be able to support it. Flavor Delight Apriel, got a good fruit set on it. Cara. This is my Cara. I've been getting good fruit off this one. It's not at premium level. This one needs a couple more years at least to produce the really, really premium fruit. But it's got a decent fruit set on it. And I love my Caras. That's the Mineola again. And then this is the Eva's Pride Peach. Again, heavy fruit set. Had to really remove a lot of fruit from this one, this guy. But nice peaches. These were some of my better. This was May Pride were my best last year. This was my second best. Really nice. And then to finish this section here is the Satlap Plum Cherry Hybrid from RSI. He created this himself. You can only get this from RSI. The only place you can get this particular hybrid stone fruit tree. And this guy flowered heavily, didn't set any fruit. So I don't know if that's a pollinator issue or if it just too young. I'm gonna go on that assumption is most likely. It's just too young. It just flowered, it just chose not to set the fruit, and that's what some of these young trees do. That flower, I've had more, this is not the only one that flowered heavily and didn't set any fruit. So I'm going to ignore everything right here for the moment. I'm going to come back over here. This section here of the garden is all stone fruit, except for there's a moringa and a mulberry. But everything else is all stone fruit. Spicy nectar plum hybrid, nectarine plum. It's got these nice red leaves that emerge and they turn green, as you can see. It's got a couple pieces of fruit on it even. We'll see. Maybe I'll get my first taste of a nectar plum this year. Behind it is the May Pride. This is the one that had the really, really wonderful peaches. Again, heavy fruit set this year. Had to thin it out. Same thing with this Katy apricot. first year with a heavy fruit set. Gold kissed apricot. Ooh, we're gonna get some gold kissed apricots this year. Back in the back there, that is a second Flavor Delight Apium. That's the one I put in because this Flavor Delight Apium here got really hurt in the summer of 2020. I thought it for sure it was gonna die, and it didn't. so I ended up with two, and I'm sticking with the two for now. Cotton Candy Apium. This one is another one that this flowered heavily this spring, yet it's not a pollinator issue because I have fruit. I do have fruit, but it only set like 3 pieces, so it's just making a decision to not put on a heavy fruit set. It's favoring its call it vegetative growth over fruiting. And fruiting does tax a tree. It takes a lot of energy. Summer Delight Apium. Got just a couple pieces on this one as well. Looking forward to trying this fruit. Behind it, Desert Delight Nectarine, Yellow Flesh Nectarine. This one put on a heavy fruit set for the first time. Before this, it only put on 1 or 2 pieces last year, and then I think maybe 1 the year before. So this one had to be thinned out. It put on so much fruit. Back in the back, this one may come out. I may replace this with an RSI tree. It's really just not growing. It's okay, but it's healthy, it's alive, but man, as for stone fruit trees, it's at its limit. I don't know. If I put a RSI tree there, it would just probably save me years of wasting time. It's got a piece of fruit or 2 on it. That's a tropic gold apricot. Leafcot apricot. Apium. Leafcot apium has fruit for the first time. And this was a champion from last year. Tropic Snow. White fleshed peach. Wonderful, wonderful peaches, man. Like no white fleshed peaches I've ever had in a grocery store before. Just amazing. Okay, our fig area, everything is heavily grafted. Again, we're not going to go through all the varieties, but this is my Black Mission. Well, actually, I have 4 Black Mission, 5 Desert Kings, 2 Tiger Panache, and 2 brown turkeys. The tiger, and 2 yellow longnecks actually as well. So the brown turkeys, the Black Missions, and the Desert Kings, the reason I have so many of them is because that's for grafting. The others, there's reasons. I won't even go into the reasons. I ended up with 2 Tiger Panache and 2 yellow longnecks, but I grafted them as well. But yeah, 5 Desert Kings. They don't even produce really great fruit either, but they're all about grafting. So this thing would be probably 12 feet tall by now if I hadn't pruned it and grafted to it so heavily for going on the 3rd year now. This has got 13 plus 4, 17 grafts on it right now. And this is an Italian honey, also known as a Latarula. That's an improved brown turkey. This is one of my Desert Kings. Just went in the ground a year ago. And this is a second Desert King. You can tell by how young they are. I mean, they've just been in the ground, and they're just known for being vigorous growers. That is a Texas Everbearing. I've hardly gotten any fruit off it, but I'm grafting to it heavily now. It's a good healthy tree. So that one's a keeper just based on the fact that I've got too many grafts on it to get rid of it. If I'm not impressed with the Texas Everbearing fruit, this one doesn't matter at this point. Another Desert King. A 4th. Nope, I take that back. Yeah, that's 3rd Desert King. one of my yellow lilacs. This was given to me for free. Someone air layered it for me and was very kind to give it to me for free. And another Desert King. Someone else did this one for me, air layered this off of what they described as their too vigorous Desert King. That is a Negroni, also known as a VDB, Violet de Bordeaux. Several grafts on that one. And next to it is a little ruby, which, I don't know. This guy might come out. I'm going to give it one more chance, see what kind of fruit I get off it. I have no grafts on it. It's a dwarf. I'm reluctant to graft to a dwarf. Something I already know is not super vigorous. So, I don't know what to do about this one. One more year, see what kind of fruit I get off it. I'm going to make a decision. This is the 5th Desert King. This is one of my 4, nope, I'm going to take that back. This is one of my 4 Black Mission. This is my 5th Desert King. That's one of my 4 Black Missions. And that one intended to, it's been a slow grower actually, but it's starting to flush out this year. It'll be fine. And I intended that back corner there to be a spot where, because a lot of my fig trees are planted really close to each other, they can only get so big. I have to keep them trimmed appropriately. That one I have in a spot where I want it to get huge. That I want to be one of my biggest fig trees back in that corner up there in full sun. And to wrap up the fig area here, this wasn't purchased as an Isha green. It is not. It's an unknown. I just call it an unknown. Lots of grafts. Chicago Hardy. LSU Champagne, same thing as that Texas Everbearing. I've hardly gotten any decent fruit off of this tree, but no, I'm grafting to it heavily, so it's a keeper just based on health and vigor. This is my Tiger Panache, one of my 2. You might notice a Figo Prado graft on there. I have more than one successful Figo Prado graft this year, and that's my other yellow long neck, and back here is a standard German cookie with several grafts on it. The only fig tree I missed was one that's on the other side of just to be complete. This is my 4th Black Mission. That one was bought as just a little baby tree from RSI when I was there. It wasn't really ready for sale. He just let me take it out of one of his nursery areas for $20. And it's coming into its own this year. So I'm now working on this back section. This is a Beaumont Red guava. This is a Red Malaysian guava. This is a pink Barbie guava, and this one actually put 5 pieces of fruit on this last year. The smell, this wonderful pungent smell comes off the guava fruit. It's just amazing. I put them in my kitchen just as a fragrance and leave them there for several days. They're amazing. The fruit on this one was horrible. It was absolutely awful. So I'm gonna give it another couple of years and see how that goes with the fruit. I guess I can start asking some questions about what expectations are on pink Barbie fruit, but I can't imagine people are growing that when it's that awful, if that's how the fruit really is when it's mature. Mexican cream guava, putting on new growth. Subel white sapote has actually set some fruit and has some nice new growth coming out. It's healthy. These shade structures. That's a big Jim Blow. Also healthy, new growth. Shade structures will probably stay. This will be their 2nd summer under a shade structure. That's probably enough. They could probably I'll probably go full sun on them after that. That's a Goldfinger banana. Behind it is a Shangri-La mulberry. Let's just see what we can see. Shangri-La has heavy fruit set, and these are really nice. I come out here in the evenings and I just eat off the trees, and I promise you, you get stained hands. My hands are purple after I eat, and they stay that way for a day or two. But way more berries out here than I can eat, than I can possibly eat. Okay. There's my grapevines and the structure, the trellis I put up for them to climb on. You can see how I've already got them training up onto the trellis. The first is we've got a green, a black, and a red. That's Thompson seedless. Black manuka, and the red one is called an amber, and that's all I know about it. I was gonna get a red flame, and these are purchased from RSI as well. These are all grafted grapes, and he was out of the red flame. He said, "I'm gonna get this." He said, "There's this amber, this red. It's a red," and he said he likes it. He likes it better than the red flame. So we'll see. Fuyu persimmon. Also under a shade structure, showing some signs of nutrient deficiency. I'm working on that. Sulfur, kelp drench on the soil, and kelp foliar application. So, dwarf namwa banana. It's probably hard to see from here, but it's got a couple really good solid pups coming up as well. Edward mango has just recently put out some new growth. That's good. I wasn't sure that guy was not looking good at all. And then we have Alfonso mango, fruiting. It's not going to set anything. That's my Anna apple that I have 6 new varieties on this spring. I did 12 grafts, 2 of each, and they all took. This is my Southern Bartlett pear. It did initially set fruit this year, just like 3 pieces. They've all dropped. That's just a Chinese elm put in there as a big shade tree. This is a dapple dandy pluot. And these back 2 rows closest to the wall are all new RSI trees, or almost all new. That is a sweet treat pleury plum cherry hybrid. That's Black Mission that we already saw, the one from RSI. This is a Flavorosa pluot. This is a Scarlet Beauty plum. This is a Burgundy plum. This is a Dave Wilson tree that I've had for a couple years. See, the Dave Wilson trees, look at this. This has been in the ground like 2 years. It's just not very big at all. And yet, look at this from RSI. It just went in the ground. This one just went in the ground like 3 months ago. Crazy difference. So let's see. Dapple Dandy, Flavorosa, Scarlet Beauty, Reed's Big Red Peach, Green Gauge Plum. Now Reed's Big Red. Again, another one from RSI. It is fruity. It's in the ground for 3 months. It's fruity. The Flavorosa as well. Flavorosa set fruit. The Reed's Big Red is a variety that can only be had from Reed. It's one that he discovered it just accidentally in a bunch of rootstock that he bought. I won't even go into the story, but he to this day he can't match it up with any known variety of peach. So we're gonna see. It's supposed to be a very good, very wonderful peach. Okay, so Santa Rosa. This is another one of those Dave Wilson tree has been in the ground a couple of years. Doesn't flower, doesn't set fruit. It's just growing really slowly. I don't know. This one may come out. So several of these are on the bubble. This is a beauty plum. Set fruit for the first time this year. Some of the Dave Wilson trees are doing okay, but it's just they just don't perform nearly as well as they are in size. And here's some more of those of the devil. Flavored grenade pluot, splash pluot, and behind it is a plum parfait plumcot. The plum parfait did flower this year, did not set fruit. The splash and the flavor grenade didn't flower, didn't set fruit. Again, they've been in the ground 2 to 2.5 years. This is this is one of my 3 Pakistani mulberries. Just put in as a big shade tree. It is heavy with fruit right now. It is mulberry season. And next to it is a I want to say Black Prince. No, Black Beauty. This is a Black Beauty. It's very similar in structure to a dwarf everbearing, but I can tell there is a difference. There's a difference in the fruit, a difference in the bark color. Some people think they're the same. They're not. And again, this guy, heavy fruit set right now. And this is another one I dine off of in the afternoons. So anyway, we got the flavor grenade back to here. This is an Arctic Star white flesh nectarine, another from RSI that just went in the ground and is fruiting like crazy. And this is the dwarf everbearing mulberry here. Heavy fruit set this year. This is the splash. This is the plum parfait. Let's see, Arctic Star. This is Inca plum that has set fruit. Puts on these, what will end up being almost a white colored plum. Never had them. Looking forward to it. This is a emerald drop pluot. Flavor finale pluot. Methyl plum. This is one of the few from our site. It did not flower or set fruit, but I'm not concerned. It just went in the ground. And then 3 figs in one hole here. Blackjack, Peter's honey. And this is the 3rd Cadota I've had in this spot. I've had 2 die on me now. I don't know what to make of that. This is kind of a cursed hole. Nothing in this hole here is doing really well, including this I-376 graft. And this is back to the sat lap. We've already seen my 2nd Tiger Panache. This is my oldest tree here. This has been in the ground 5 years now. And you know, it's about what, 20 feet tall. Heavy fruit set. I mean, let's get in here and see what we can see. It's just heavy on fruit. I'll be out here for the next 2-3 weeks, just eating more mulberries that I can possibly eat. And the Pakistani mulberries. These are the good ones, man. These are just delicious. So, I don't think I missed anything. I often forget to come back and get these ones on the left side. I didn't mention the moringas. They don't look so good right now. They take a really long time to flush out. is flowering. They're healthy. It'll flush out, but they're really slow for some reason to flush out. That's my second Pakistani mulberry there. I don't think I mentioned that one when I came by. One of my 3. And that's it. So hope you enjoyed this update. Never know what all people want to hear about. There's a zillion topics to address, but I'm really just showing what I've got, where everything's at, and that's it. If anybody wants, you can leave comments and let me know what you want to hear about. If you want to hear about the feeding, the watering, the mending, whatever, insect control, nutrient deficiencies. There's like 1,000 topics, and they're often very controversial. Nice new growth on my Mineola, as well as fruit set. Mineola is a grapefruit mandarin hybrid, and man, they are good. Early in the season, they're more like a grapefruit, sour, and then if you leave them hang on the tree long enough, they eventually will become much more like a mandarin. The sugars and the flavors of the mandarin develop. It's when you catch them right in between, in that transition period, when you get this really amazing complexity. It's just a wonderful, wonderful fruit. And the ones I'm growing, you can get them in grocery stores, but the ones I'm growing are just so much better than what's in the grocery store. That's it. I'm going to stop now. I could talk all day, but this is the garden. May 1st, 2023. Hope you enjoyed it.